it looks like that's live, or it's saying it's live, so um, that's good. I assume. I don't expect anybody to be on here because it's what is our time? Just after 12, lunchtime for probably for the majority of people, those that are out there working and doing what they do. So if you do happen to stop by, thanks for stopping by. But I'm just going to jump into this anyway. Got a bit of work to do, and in the middle of some work at the moment. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to take another break, so to speak, a break to do the live at 3 o'clock, which would normally be scheduled on the Fridays. So apologies for shifting things around. I don't think there's a lot of people that are hanging out waiting to jump on the live at 3 o'clock anyway. I think it's just a case of hit and miss, and whoever can make it, and if they happen to be on a device and see when the live is happening, then so be it. And if they don't, well, then they don't. They can either watch it later or just ignore it completely. So anyway, just shout out to Paul. Appreciate the update, bro, in regards to your Cambodian mate's daughter who's been successful and been selected for postgraduate. What is it? Postgraduate. You've got it here. Postgraduate scholarship here in NZ. And so I'll pass on your big thank you to Aotearoa New Zealand from you. So Paul's one of the lads from over in Oz, ex-service member. He's been out and doing some amazing work with the Australian Aid International, and he's done a whole bunch of work over the years and continues to do some incredible work now. I won't go into a lot of detail in regards to his Cambodian mate's daughter that's been selected, other than it's a huge success story, which is great, and hopefully more success stories to come. Paul's given me a bit of an update on the Ukraine. That's come to a bit of a standstill at the moment where he is, where Australian Aid International, I'm assuming, have been accused of aiding the Ukrainian military, which Paul's a man of integrity, says it's total rubbish. You know, they supply individual first aid kits and train people in how to use them, and they'll look to help a few orphanages along the way, in and out, time, place, circumstance permitting, and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, they've got to go through a full investigation process, and he's got a cynical him, thinks that they may have been a bit too successful, but if so, he thinks that that's a good thing, which I think so as well. And yeah, so that's a bit of an update he just wanted to give me. I won't talk about some of the other stuff in that and there, but pretty cool. It's nice to get updates and be in connection with people that are doing some cool stuff in and around the place. Shout out William Keith, oh Billy. I received your update in regards to Charlie Upham's VC stuff that you've done. I will get to reading that and probably sharing that on the channel at some stage. So appreciate you taking the time and then sending that through with the edits and updates that you've done. I haven't had a read to see where those edits and stuff are, but that's right. I've got the latest copy now that you've provided and sent through. So that's cool. Um, I did receive received a couple of recent comments, probably on the back end of a handful of, I suppose, recent short little videos, something a little different, something I suppose on the lighter side of things and storytelling and whatever, and just having a laugh at the end of the day. And they said, "Hey, what's the story here? What are you posting this content for? That isn't your normal stuff." And I'm not sure if the person likes it or is disgruntled with it. The tone, I suppose, because you can't tell the tone in an email or in a message. My perception of it is that maybe they're annoyed. If you are and you're not happy with regards to the contents on the channel, it's like, too bad, so sad. Go find another channel where you are happy. And if you are happy, I apologize if I'm maybe misinterpreting what it is that you've said or the way that it's come across in the message. But yeah, like I've been having fun just mucking around and having a bit of a laugh playing with some of the stuff. We got those bloody 4 young rat bags that were up in Auckland recently, getting up to mischief, just stupid stuff, going out there doing, I think it was a home invasion or some sort of robbery with machetes. 4 young punks, just, oh man, disappointing. I'm sure the parents are, you know, angry and disappointed, maybe embarrassed with it. I'm just thinking that's probably how I would be. But I was actually really glad that those bloody little toe jams got caught and tuned up a bit by the police, and you know the dogs got to have a bit of a bite as well, which is a nut talk. That's what you get, you bloody clowns. So yeah. Anyway, right or wrong, that's my thought on that. and just glad that those little toe jams got caught before they potentially, could have caused a heck of a lot of other damage and potentially worse, could have killed somebody. So, from what I understand, thankfully that hasn't happened. Where are we? Yeah, so that was a bit on the channel. Where are we? Yeah, I think that's that. I can leave that for shout out Sundays, I suppose. Yeah, and probably the only other one on here, because I'm not expecting any questions or anything to come through, which is good, is just in and around. People have asked about Maya. So we've had a handful. Pretty sure I spoke either last Friday live or recently anyway. There's a fairly a much healthier wait list with regards to Maya, that matching adult individuals automatically, that my wife and I side project that we're working on, than we thought. Like a few dozen people. There's been literally a handful of people that have asked to be removed because they've found somebody. But on the back end of that, there have been some people that have just dropped in a few queries, and I'm guessing by the tone and the queries that maybe they're just keen to see the platform up and running. So are we, don't get us wrong, but probably the timing of those comments, I don't know what it is, but there's some discussion happening at the moment, we'll put it that way, with the developer, because we've got some concerns or identified, I suppose people would probably call them red flags. So yeah, we're just navigating and working our way through that. Just a blip on the radar and just another challenge, but we expect a heck of a lot more blips and challenges along the way. So no big deal. No need to go into any of the details here, other than, yeah, I suppose what people would probably consider a red flag. We've identified that as something that's popped up for us, and so now we're engaging and speaking with the developer to try to get some clarity around that and make sure that yeah, that we get what we pay for, and that things go according to the scope of work and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, got a bit of work on to do. I'll just probably have a short break after this and then just be cracking on doing the rest of the work and preparing for the pre-selection camps, preparing for the reckoning. So that's popped up again. People have said that they'd like to do it. These are people that have got no plans on doing selection at all, but wanting to get a taste of, I suppose, doing a modified selection type event, challenge, for want of a better term. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll reach out to some key parties, guys that were kind enough to help out from a directing staff perspective on the first one, and yeah, and we'll see what happens. If it goes ahead, all fun and games until it's time to get to the start line and turn up. And then pre-selection stuff, that first one's in April. I think it is the 10th. Let's just have a look while I'm here. April. Yep, 10th to the 12th. First pre-selection camp. Pretty sure there is only one person, maybe two. One or two people on that camp, which is fine. Maximum is 10 anyway. So yeah, it can be run for one, it can be run for two, it can be run for a maximum of 10, depending on how many staff and how much equipment and stuff is available, or how many things the participants have or don't have. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's not being used for content or anything on the channel. Not at this stage anyway. And if it is, there's not going to be any, I suppose, it won't be similar sort of footage to what you see on the reckoning. It'll be different. And like I've said, the pre-selection camps will probably be even more watered down from a physical perspective. Even though there's going to be physical work involved, it's not the same as, it's completely different to the reckoning. And those wanting to come and earn a t-shirt and or a challenge coin, those that have put their hand up. So yeah, we'll see how all of that goes. Got some places to go out and still get some work done reconnaissance wise with regards to the navigation areas. Shout out Dave from New Zealand Blades and Bullets for the heads up and the info on a couple of areas in your neck of the woods. Might be a bit of a drive heading towards Palmy to go to those areas, so we probably won't go there. Maybe not for this one in April. Probably just stick to something a bit closer to here, to this Wellington area, probably in Porirua, Whitireia, Colonial Knob area. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe over in the hut as well. So we'll see how all of that turns out. But I've got a bit of work to do and a bit more stomping to do to get out there in the hills and have a bit of a look for those navigation legs and parts. The idea behind that, just because there might be some other people that have some queries, there are a handful of other people that have booked in for a pre-selection camp, but later on in the year, not for this April one, which has been good. But some of them have had questions about kit, navigation, and that sort of thing. Excuse me. So with the navigation, the intent behind it is to focus more on giving you the theory and being able to go out and then apply it practically. The selection of the area or areas where we do it isn't intended to be like painful or brutal. Yeah, there might be some hills. Yeah, it'll be undulating. Um, it's intended to be in an area where, yes, you still want to be working on your distance and your bearing and plotting all that stuff, being able to conduct and do a resection to find where you are on the ground. So all of those basics are part of it, but it's not intended to be a flog session and for you to be thrashed out there during the navigation. So just keep that in mind. Probably where we can, a mix of a bit of open country. Now the areas where I'm looking at, it'll look pretty easy and should look pretty easy in terms of being able to identify the points of where you're going to. The terrain, yeah, there's a few hills and stuff in there that's just New Zealand for you and the Wellington area in general. And then some of the close country areas is probably at this stage, off the top of my head, from having been in some of those areas before, there'll probably be a little bit of point to point or tree to tree navigation, because some areas might be a little bit thicker, so it'd probably be a little bit harder to look off in the distance and try to get pick a bearing that's further away. But that's still helpful as well, anyway. So there'll be a little bit of that, some short duration stuff. Some will be a little bit longer. So, i.e., the close country will be a bit shorter, and the open country probably be a little bit longer. But nothing ridiculous. It's not going to be double digit kilometer legs or distances between the checkpoints. So single digits for the most part, and just enough to give you, hopefully, at least a good basic understanding of how to apply the navigation skills itself from a theory perspective and then applying it practically. So, and then all the other stuff that is encompassed or condensed into those 36 and 48 or 36 to 48 hours during the pre-selection camp. So hopefully that helps. And I'll probably, I think I've posted it already. Actually, I think it's on the other channel. Let's just have a look. Yeah, so this one actually isn't going up until tomorrow. So anyway, I'll just talk to it now briefly while I'm here doing this live. And there was a question in regards to joining the military from a parent. Um, on the back end of them having watched, they saw the short video of my daughter and I at the end of one of our Saturday morning training runs or running sessions. And I asked her if she still wanted to join the army, because prior to that, she came back home and said that, yeah, that she wanted to join the army with one of her friends. Well, if anybody's seen that session that we finished at the end, and we start to do our cool down lap to walk around the lagoon in Aotea there in Porirua. When I asked her if she still wanted to join the army, she's responded swiftly with a note. So that's changed. But anyway, this parent was asking, I think from memory, essentially, because I've already recorded that video, so I can't remember it off the top of my head, everything that I said, why, or that I appeared to be encouraging her to join. And yeah, so she come back, just bearing in mind that was something that she wanted to do off her own back, and that I appeared to be encouraging her, because yeah, I'll encourage her if that's anything that our children want to do that is that we feel is positive and aligned with how we feel as parents that we've raised them to be good, positive, contributing members to their community. Um, and just law-abiding citizens doing what they need to do as well as they can, understanding and acknowledging that they're going to make mistakes along the way, but for the most part that they are intentionally trying to be good people. Then we're always going to support them. Doesn't matter what it is. Wouldn't matter to me if she didn't want to join the army or if she doesn't join the army. But if she's expressed an interest in wanting to do that, then I'm naturally going to support her. Um, so would I think it was along the lines of, yeah, why was I encouraging or would I encourage her or any of our children if we have any others to go into the army? So this person did mention that jogs the memory now that that they had recently stumbled upon my channel. So I answered that in there. People that know me know or have been following my channel for a while have a bit of an understanding. I think the military is great. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Are the people within it perfect? No, they're not, full of imperfect people within an imperfect organization and structure, but it's still an awesome place to be, in my biased opinion. So I would encourage and support anybody that had a desire or expressed an interest in wanting to serve in the Defence Force, whether that's New Zealand or Australia, or anywhere. So so that's that, and that's why I probably came across and seemed as encouraging, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I guess for this person, I did acknowledge and mention to them, seeing as they're new and likely don't know. Yeah, my wife and I, we're lucky that we've really got a couple of children that have put up their hand without any encouragement from us and said that they wanted to join the army. So they're in the army now and they love it. They're enjoying themselves and yeah, and everything that that life entails. So whatever they choose to do, however long they choose to serve for, we're always going to support them in those decisions uh, that we think are aligned with how they've been raised anyway. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, and that gives a bit of a summary on that video, which will go up tomorrow for anybody that might have similar questions or parents. So sorry, that was the last part of that parents query. The reason for their query and question was they they didn't go into detail in their message in their email, but they just expressed that they had some concerns. And so in the response that I did, in the video response, without knowing what those concerns are, because they didn't outline them, I could only assume that maybe their concerns are based on what's happening in the world at the moment. So um, all of that stuff is really outside our control, eh? What's happening in the world? The war in Iran, the war in the Ukraine, the potential war between China and Taiwan, a whole bunch of other things happening. Um, the use of drones and the attacks on the oil fields and fuel prices skyrocketing and all that sort of stuff. Hey, maybe with all that stuff happening, maybe the good thing might be we won't have any more of those young toe jams bloody taking vehicles and driving around because they won't have any money for fuel. Who knows? But yeah, there's just lots of stuff outside our control is where I was going with that. And yeah, like trying to concern myself with all of those things that are outside my control is a bit of a pointless exercise for me. So just focusing on what it is that I can do, focusing in on what it is that I want to do as well, equally important to me, and focusing on things that not only that what I want to do that I can do, but also things that I think are hopefully helpful or beneficial or good in some small way, whatever that is, whether that's putting a smile on somebody's face, whether that's providing a response to a question that maybe some people have been surprised when I have responded, either in the comments or email and or both a video and an email, whether it's, yeah, trying to provide some insight that way or responses. Um, yeah, those are things that I can control, I guess, is where I'm going with that, and focusing on the things that are within my sphere of influence and ability to impact gives me, I suppose, a sense of purpose and something to be able to do and contribute without worrying about all the bloody rubbish that happens around the place. Um, Probably the last thing that I'll mention here is just on, oh yeah, the Bravery and Betrayal documentary that's been done up, the Australian Special Air Service a number of former special air service guys that, in collaboration with whoever those amazing people are that have supported the Wandering Warriors and SAS Association, I assume, and people with technical and media backgrounds and skills that have contributed to helping making that documentary available and accessible. Massive respect to them and thank you for that. I was fortunate and brought a copy as soon as I was able to online. So I've got my own copy that I've watched a couple of times. Well, now I've watched it 3 times. The third time was doing the reaction to it, which is uploaded on the channel. But just in the members only section, there's no ads on that. I've turned that ad section off. Why have I put it in the members only section? Well, I think I'll probably get copyright struck with it anyway. I think that's probably coming. The Bravery and Betrayal documentary goes for about an hour and a half, but when I'm yapping away and have done a reaction to it, it's actually a little over 4 hours. So I'm just looking at it now. It's got here 4:01. It would have and should have been 4:05, but the last few minutes, so those last sort of 4 minutes of it, for whatever reason, the audio didn't pick up. So everything's running perfect up to the 3 hour, 52 minute, so many seconds section. And then there's a few little segments, the last handful of segments whereby I'm talking and no audio was coming through at all. Then I'd hit the play button and then it would play and you could hear the audio of the actual video. Then I'd pause it and be talking and there was nothing. So it would have looked like a really poorly done kung fu movie if I tried to read my own lips and try to repeat what it was that I was saying, which I couldn't remember what I was saying anyway. So I deleted those chunks out and just brought everything together. But now there's like a piece missing at the end. So apologies for that if you remember and you get that far, if you manage to make it that far. But then I sort of type a text piece up at the end and then slap that in there at the end for people that might still be there to have a look and a read. So everything else up until that point, it's really only the last 4 minutes that are missing. I think all the main parts are included in there. The last parts was when I was not allowing, but watching I guess, the remembrance and the honor roll play of those 41 soldiers from the Australian Defence Force that lost their lives in Afghanistan. And also seen some footage of guys, not all of them, I didn't know all of them, but a handful of them that I knew that were catching up, and Harry Moffat singing Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda? Yeah, I think that's what he was singing at the end, playing in the background while that's happening. And then I'd pause and then chat a little bit about some of the guys and bits and pieces. So it wasn't missing a heck of a lot at the end. It was just more some memories and then the sign off. I can see that a few people, looks like there's been a handful of views. Well, literally, there's only a handful of people in the members section anyway. But looks like there's been a handful of views in terms of that Bravery and Betrayal. So thank you to anybody that stopped by there and had a watch of that or is still in the process of watching it. I understand 4 hours is a long time. And yeah, but it still hit home and hit hard a few times in the usual places where it did the first 2 times when I shed a few tears. And then the third time, I did a lot better than the first 2 times watching it. But yeah, still, it hit at the times where it hit me the first couple of times. And instead of having a few tears running down the face multiple times like the first couple, I think that only happened once on there. Not that that matters. I couldn't care less if people cry. There's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. But when I was doing the reaction, I was trying to, and so I would pause it and give myself, when I could feel stuff happening, it's like, oh yeah, I can feel it. Pause and then talk to that, and that was enough to sort of help things calm down in those moments, and then just crack back on with it. But it still took 4 hours. So anyway, and I think that's about it. How long is that? That's been nearly 25 minutes. And I don't know if anybody's on here, but whether you are or you aren't, doesn't matter. If you've actually, let me just check here. I'm just on Riverside. Uh, Kia ora, Joe. New Bob Dole. Love the content. I wonder if you'd interact with Navy SEAL Jake. I don't know how to say his name. At any point, he'd absolutely give you time. I've heard that name mentioned before, and I think it was from James Gregg. New Bob Dole. Talk 5018. Kia ora, Joe. Hey, kia ora to you too. Would I interact with Navy SEAL? I'd gladly interact with them. I don't know what you mean in terms of interact. Maybe you mean do a reaction to his stuff. I think that's what James Gregg asked me to do. Have a look at his stuff and um, do a reaction to some of his things. I'm pretty sure I've got some of his stuff on the list, which is long, but I haven't gotten to his actual stuff yet to do any reactions to it. I have seen him do some reactions to Australian SAS and the New Zealand SAS and a bunch of other things. Um, yeah, so I'd probably, yeah, if that's what you mean, interact and do a reaction to stuff. Yeah, I've pretty much got him on the list, unless you meant something else. So apologies if you did. Other than that, I think it's only those two not questions, two comments in the chat. And it looks like there's a handful of people that took some time to stop by. Thank you for that. If you did, unless you just accidentally bumped it and it's playing in the background while it's sitting in your pocket. So appreciate your time and the support. Anybody that's stopped by here or stopping by here, I don't know if people have got any questions. Maybe I'll just hang out for a little bit in case people have. If you don't, that's fine as well. And while that's there, let me just check something. Not for the live, just checking for my own bits and pieces of what I need to do, that's all. See Mark Wales, he's got some stuff up. US ground invasion of Iran? Question mark. Special forces plan to seize nuclear weapons explained. Anybody that hasn't seen Wales's stuff, Mark Wales, check him out. Yeah, no. That's it. I think that's scrolling through. No, nothing I need to bring up there. Can leave that for shout out Sundays. Yeah. No, that's it. Where are we? Have a good day, Joe. Yeah, you too. Ha-has. Any tips for good sleep beyond the basic no caffeine, nicotine, blackout curtains, etc.? I've got my dad's side of the family terrible sleep pattern. Excuse me. Yeah, a few things, like I suppose for me, things that have helped is eating earlier before, like I usually these days try and have my last meal by about 6 o'clock, and it's usually nothing too heavy. Not that I was really feeling upset or bloated or anything when I was going to bed anyway. Occasionally, there were some times where I did overindulge, and that did happen. But I've noticed for me, having my last meal, like last anything to eat, even if it's just a piece of fruit or whatever, by 6 o'clock in the evening, has been a huge improvement in terms of my sleeping pattern anyway for me. Blackout curtains, we don't have blackout curtains, but where our curtains are, we add an extra layer of air or lava lavas to blacken it out even more. So that definitely helps. Not having like any of the little glowing parts of your power things, like I cover all of those at night. So just a completely pitch black room definitely has helped. Not drinking too much before going to bed is also has also been another help as well. The stuff around nicotine, caffeine, like, well, I don't do either of those anyway, but I suppose, yeah, those are probably not too good to have before. And then also with sleep, um, it's a little bit. This part's been a little bit challenging, but when I get it, I suppose right for want of a better term, in inverted commas, being off my device at least, or being off devices at least, where I can, a good couple of hours before bed is makes a huge difference. Like for me anyway. So those are just a handful. Like eating and finishing that before, like early enough, so that by 6 o'clock my body's already well and truly into digesting what it is, or even by 6 o'clock. So before I go to bed, there's a few hours there whereby the digestion has good opportunity. Oftentimes, I've still got time to do a walk or do some sort of light movement or exercise in that anyway. So that helps with the digestion, I think, anyway, at least for me. And so being able to go to bed and not have any cramps or grumblings of the stomach or anything like that. Blacking out the room is definitely helpful. Not drinking too much before going to bed and being off the device good. If I can be off the device more than 2 hours before going to bed, even better. In saying that, sometimes there have been times where I've gone to watch a movie, look to have a relax after, and then that's actually I've conked out before the movie's even finished, and then I just slap the laptop lid down and end up having a good sleep. So anyway, hopefully those things help. That's what I do. If anybody's got any other tips in terms of what they do for sleep, they can share them with here for this fellow who's asked the question. I swear you have my complete attention, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Your channel is a gold mine. Wishing you continued success. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. Yeah, people that take the time, kind enough to drop in comments or, yeah, add, even correct me as well. Give me correction in terms of stuff that I might say if I'm reacting to UK stuff or US stuff, or they're kind enough to give me extra context in and around uh, what those certain things mean and what certain pipelines involve in terms of the US military, as an example, and even the UK. So, yeah, really helpful for me as well. I don't necessarily remember them all because I'm like, oh, I don't really need to remember it all, but it's nice when I read it, and then I try to make an effort to reply and go, hey, thanks for clarifying that for me. Anyway, yeah, have an awesome weekend, wherever you are. Again, thank you all for your support. Look after yourselves and stay alert, stay aware. Watch out for those any bloody toe jams out there. Not just young people. There's some old people that can be bloody toe rags as well. But look after yourself and look after those around you, and yeah, just continue being a good person. As always, the message is the same. Any challenges, difficulties, trials that you may be going through, and or issues, whether it's you or somebody that you know, man, just I encourage you and encourage them as best we can to keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, and always just take one day at a time. Be kinder to yourself as well. Be kinder to ourselves. It is okay to not be okay, and that happens more often than we might like, or then more often than we might anticipate or expect. But things, in my experience, can do and will get better if we want them to. We do. I do have to want them to get better though, and so I think that applies to anybody. We do have to want things to get better, and if we can apply that, they will. It may not happen on our schedule though, and things may be miserable and lonely, and they may suck for a long time, but the sun will shine again. There are better days ahead, and those better days are always closer than you and I think. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. So keep smashing and stick at it. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. There we. I caught a live, Steve. Well, you caught the end, maybe. Woohoo! Oh, I guess not. You too. Yeah, cheers, bro. And have a great weekend. Oh, yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Steve, Lance, if you're still there, I don't know if you got any questions, but yeah, the live is coming to an end. It's been going for about 34 minutes, it says on here, but appreciate you stopping by and catching it. Take care, everybody.